Welcome to Willow Creek. Lily pulled the U-Haul to a stop in front of number 14 Willow Creek Lane, a modest but charming bungalow with a freshly painted porch. Sunlight glinted off the brand-new solar panels on the roof, a welcome sight after the grueling drive. Finally, she muttered, cutting the engine. Home. As she hopped out, stretching her aching back, a man emerged from the house next door. He was older, with kind eyes crinkled at the corners and a warm smile. "Welcome to Willow Creek," he called out, extending a hand. "I'm Mr. Garcia, your neighbor." "Lily Chun," she replied, shaking his hand. "Great to meet you. So, you're the one bringing solar power to the neighborhood," Mr. Garcia said, glancing up at the panels. His smile faltered slightly. "That's ambitious." Lily frowned. Ambitious good or ambitious doomed? He chuckled, a low rumble in his chest. "Let's just say our HOA has opinions. Very strong opinions. About everything. Especially aesthetics." He lowered his voice conspiratorially. "Keep your lawn trimmed to precisely 2 inches, and for heaven's sake, don't even think about putting up a flamingo." Lily raised an eyebrow. "A flamingo? Pink plastic. Apparently it's an abomination." She sighed inwardly. She'd dealt with bureaucracy before, but this sounded like a whole new level of particularity. "Thanks for the warning, Mr. Garcia. I'll try to stay on their good side." Though, she thought, staring up at her beautiful energy-generating panels, she wasn't sure how much she was willing to compromise. Those panels weren't just for show, they were the heart of her new business. And she had a feeling the HOA wasn't going to appreciate her vision. The setting sun cast long shadows across the street, illuminating the solar panels. They hummed softly, silently converting light into power. Lily smiled, a spark of defiance igniting within her. She'd face the HOA. She'd explain the benefits, the cost savings, the environmental impact. Surely they couldn't object to progress. Could they? The HOA president's visit. The electric whine of a Tesla pulling into her driveway was Lily's first clue. Agnes Periwinkle, HOA president and purveyor of perfectly manicured lawns, emerged, her face a mask of disapproval. The Tesla, a metallic monstrosity the color of overripe avocado, hummed impatiently behind her. "Miss Chin," Agnes began, her voice sharp enough to cut glass, "these panels. They are, frankly, unsightly." She gestured with a hand adorned with enough rings to sink a small boat. "They clash with the neighborhood's aesthetic. The bylaws clearly state." Lily cut her off. "The bylaws state that solar panels are permitted provided they meet certain size and placement requirements, which mine do." Agnes's eyes narrowed. "Technicalities, Miss Chin. Technicalities." Besides, she leaned in conspiratorially, the scent of expensive perfume assaulting Lily's nostrils. "I've been thinking. With all this extra power you're generating, it seems only fair that you share. After all, we are a community." Lily blinked. "Share? Yes. My Tesla, for instance, requires a considerable amount of charging. A small contribution from you would be neighborly." Agnes beamed, clearly pleased with her own audacity. "Think of it as your civic duty." Lily stared at Agnes, speechless. The absurdity of the request hung in the air, thick and suffocating as the summer humidity. This wasn't about aesthetics, it was about entitlement. A matter of principle. "I understand your request, Mrs. Periwinkle," Lily said, attempting a diplomatic tone. The HOA president stood rigid on her porch, arms crossed so tightly her knuckles were white. "But my solar panels are sized to meet my family's energy needs. I barely generate enough surplus to charge my own electric vehicle." "Nonsense," Mrs. Periwinkle scoffed, her voice dripping with acid. "Those panels are practically gleaming. You're hoarding energy when your neighbors could benefit. My Tesla deserves priority. It's a status symbol for the entire community." Lily felt a flush creep up her neck. "With all due respect, how I use the energy I generate is my decision." She gestured to the humming inverter mounted on the side of the house. "Even if I wanted to share, the system isn't designed for that kind of load. It would overload." "Don't play coy with me, Lily," Mrs. Periwinkle hissed, stepping closer. The scent of her cloying perfume filled the air. "Everyone knows you tech people are rolling in money. You're being selfish. This community thrives on shared resources and cooperation. Unless, of course, you want to find yourself facing some unforeseen fines regarding your unapproved landscaping." Her eyes narrowed, locking onto Lily's. Lily straightened her shoulders, refusing to be intimidated. My landscaping is fully compliant with HOA regulations, Mrs. Periwinkle. And I am not providing free electricity for your Tesla. That's my final answer. Brainstorming with Alex. The phone rang twice before Alex picked up, his voice a warm rumble. Lily? What's up? You sound breathless. Mrs. Periwinkle cornered me again, Lily blurted, pacing the length of her kitchen. The cool tile did little to soothe her burning frustration. She said the solar panels are attracting unwanted attention and lowering property values. She practically accused me of running a power plant. Alex sighed, the sound crackling faintly through the speaker. That woman? I swear, she finds new ways to make my blood boil just hearing about her. I'm at my wit's end, Alex. I feel like I'm being bullied. There was a pause. Then Alex's tone shifted, a mischievous glint audible in his voice. Okay, hear me out. We fight fire with, well, more fire. But a specific kind of fire. Lily stopped pacing, intrigued. What are you getting at? Remember that giant inflatable flamingo I bought for my pool last summer? Lily chuckled despite herself. The one that barely fit? Exactly. We need something visually impactful. Something that screams, I'm not backing down. Think, a giant, solar-powered disco ball. Positioned strategically to reflect sunlight directly into Mrs. Periwinkle's living room window during prime napping hours. Lily stared at the ceiling, picturing it. It was outrageous. It was ridiculous. It was perfect. A slow smile spread across her face. Alex, you're a genius. The Tesla Coil idea. The slammed door still vibrated in its frame. Lily sank onto the couch, the floral cushions doing little to soothe her simmering anger. Mrs. Periwinkle. The woman had the audacity to demand free electricity, then insult Lily's solar panels. But as the red haze of anger began to dissipate, a different sort of electricity crackled in Lily's mind. Tesla. Not the car, but the name itself. A faint memory flickered, the high school science fair, Mr. Abernathy's eccentric enthusiasm, and her own surprisingly successful Tesla Coil project. It had been small, powered by a 9-volt battery, just enough to make tiny sparks jump to a grounded metal rod. A smile tugged at Lily's lips. Her project had been harmless, even a little mesmerizing. An idea began to form, a mischievous counterpoint to Mrs. Periwinkle's entitled rage. What if she could create a scaled-up, entirely harmless light show around Mrs. Periwinkle's precious electric car? A spectacle powered, of course, entirely by her solar panels. Lily grabbed her sketchbook and a pen. The initial sketches were crude, coils, capacitors, transformers, but as she worked, the vision clarified. She wouldn't directly interfere with the car, no risk of damage. Just a dazzling, buzzing display of controlled arcs and plasma streams dancing harmlessly around the charging vehicle. A silent, electrifying, and utterly unforgettable message. Modifying the coil? Lily pulled on her oldest MIT sweatshirt, the faded logo a comforting reminder of problem-solving nights. Tonight's problem, refining the Tesla Coil's output. She gathered her tools, insulated pliers, a multimeter, a box of assorted resistors, and the crucial ingredient, a spool of ultra-thin, brightly colored copper wire she'd ordered online. The garage smelled faintly of ozone and solder, a scent she found strangely invigorating. The coil hummed softly as she worked, a low thrum that vibrated through the concrete floor and up her legs. Carefully, she began winding the new wire around the secondary coil, each loop meticulously spaced, ensuring no overlap. This wasn't about raw power, it was about controlled artistry. She wanted tendrils of vibrant plasma dancing around the car, a visual spectacle but one contained within a safe electromagnetic field. Hours blurred. The only light came from the work lamp and the occasional blue flash from a stray spark. Finally, she stepped back, wiping sweat from her brow with the back of her hand. Time to test. Lily double-checked the grounding, then flipped the switch. The coil roared to life, a crackling crescendo that filled the garage. Instead of the uncontrolled bolts of before, delicate ribbons of crimson and emerald plasma snaked around the Tesla, outlining its sleek form in an ethereal glow. Perfect. Almost. One tiny adjustment remained, a resistor changed to deepen the red hue. She grabbed the pliers, a faint smile playing on her lips. Karen's jaw was going to drop. The HOA meeting surprise. Lily gripped her coffee cup, the ceramic warm against her suddenly cold hands. Agnes Periwinkle's voice, amplified by the cheap microphone, grated on her nerves like nails on a chalkboard. The community center was stuffy, smelling of stale coffee and simmering resentment. Lily had strategically chosen a seat near the back, hoping to remain invisible, a futile aspiration it seemed. And then Agnes huffed, her voice laced with indignation, "We have the matter of Ms. Chen's installation." She practically spat the word out. Head swiveled in Lily's direction. Frankly, I find the gleam from those panels aesthetically offensive. And I've heard whispers I say, about potential interference with the electrical grid. Lily resisted the urge to roll her eyes. Interference? She'd installed the panels with a licensed electrician following all regulations. It was Agnes, she suspected, who wanted interference-free electricity for her prized rose garden. Agnes puffed out her chest, preparing for her grand finale. Therefore, I propose a vote. Lily subtly reached into her bag, her fingers brushing against the familiar metal of the remote. It was a calculated risk, but she was done with Agnes's theatrics. All those in favor of demanding Ms. Chun remove her eyesores, Lily pressed the button. A low hum, barely audible at first, emanated from somewhere outside. It grew, vibrating through the floor, a deep, resonant thrum that drowned out Agnes's voice mid-sentence. The fluorescent lights flickered, casting long, distorted shadows across the room. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. Agnes's face was a mask of bewilderment, her mouth opening and closing like a landed fish. The hum intensified, morphing into a high-pitched whine that seemed to burrow into their skulls. Agnes clutched her ears. The Tesla coil was awake. And a shocking spectacle. The whirring hadn't stopped, but intensified, the air thickening with a strange ozone scent. Then it happened. Tendrils of violet light, fragile as spiderwebs, began to lick at the chrome trim of Mrs. Periwinkle's Tesla. A collective gasp rippled through the small crowd gathered on Lily's lawn. What in the... Someone breathed. The violet tendrils thickened, coalescing into shimmering coronas around the door handles, the side mirrors, even the tiny Tesla emblem. The car was bathed in an ethereal glow, humming with barely contained energy. Harmless, yes, but undeniably shocking. Neighbors pulled out phones, their faces lit by the otherworldly spectacle. Laughter bubbled up, nervous at first, then unrestrained. Even Mr. Henderson, notorious for his perpetually furrowed brow, cracked a smile. Mrs. Periwinkle sputtered, her face a mottled crimson. This is outrageous. Chin, I demand you stop this immediately. She waved her arms, a futile gesture against the crackling display. The light intensified, outlining her silhouette in an unflattering electric halo. I told you, Lily said, her voice calm amidst the chaos, free power. Mrs. Periwinkle yanked at the Tesla's door handle, but recoiled with a yelp. It's electrified. Just a little tingle, Lily clarified, but the mirth in her eyes was unmistakable. The crowd roared with laughter. Mrs. Periwinkle, defeated and utterly humiliated, retreated back towards her own property, muttering about lawsuits and the decline of civilized society. The Tesla, now a beacon of shimmering light, remained stubbornly parked, a testament to Lily's ingenuity and Mrs. Periwinkle's monumental miscalculation. The HOA meeting was going to be very interesting. A brighter future. Agnes Periwinkle's face was a roadmap of frustrated wrinkles. Fine, she spat, her voice cracking. Enjoy your panels. She stabbed the accelerator of her gleaming Tesla, the tires squealing in protest as she executed a three-point turn that ended with her nearly clipping Mrs. Abernathy's prize-winning roses. The electric engine whirred a high-pitched whine as she sped off, leaving a palpable cloud of resentment hanging in the air. The tension didn't dissipate immediately. But then Mr. Henderson, a retired history professor known for his level-headedness, cleared his throat. Perhaps, he said, adjusting his glasses, a more enlightened approach is warranted. His words seemed to break the spell. 2 weeks later, Lily and Alex found themselves at an impromptu neighborhood barbecue, ostensibly celebrating the end of summer, but really celebrating them. The HOA, under new temporary leadership, had voted to table any further action against solar installations, promising to review existing guidelines. You two really shook things up, boomed Mr. Abernathy, his face flushed with genuine admiration, not the usual rose-induced hue. Inspired us, you did. I'm looking into community solar projects myself. Even Mrs. Davison, who had initially expressed concerns about property values, offered a tentative smile. Those panels, they do look rather efficient, she admitted, poking at a veggie burger with a plastic fork. Lily and Alex exchanged a look, a silent promise hanging in the air. This was just the beginning.